Hey guys, I'm Chef Frazier. Welcome to the Empty Kitchen, where we explore French Creole style cuisine with a southern twist. On today's episode, we're going to be making a pan-seared salmon with apple and potato hash, but it's going to be finished off with an apple cider blanc. And for dessert, Hank's peanut butter cups, where we take dark chocolate brownies, fresh cream cheese, and peanut butter mousse, and we whip them all together and enjoy. Thank you. I'm Chef Frazier, and today I'm making my Hank's peanut butter cups. Starting out, I'm going to melt my chocolate. I had a mix of dark and brown and light and chunks and squares, but this is all I had, so we're going to make it work and do what we have to do. I got me a pot of water going. As my water is boiling, I'm simply going to melt my chocolate. I've got my chocolate sitting chilling. I don't need to worry about it for a minute, but what I do need to worry about is getting started on whipping my yolks, whipping my leavening agent. The only thing I have is my yolks and my sugar. I've got a half a cup of yolks, just the yolks, no whites, half a cup of sugar, half a cup of flour, half a cup of cream. Those aren't going in. See a trend? Let's make it easy. Half and half, half, half. I also got a little bit of vanilla bean paste. I find it's just as easy, if not quicker, than a regular vanilla bean. But I get the same lovely flavor that I've always wanted out of that. But the most important thing with this is how long I let it whip, because I've got no leavening agent, only the air of which it is. And so it's kind of going to be like a chocolate souffle. But instead of whites, it's much richer, it's much stronger with the yolks. Paired with my dark chocolate and my milk chocolate, it's going to be absolutely divine. Now, as that whips, it's going to continue to whip until it gets nice and white and creamy and a thick Sauvignon. All right? Okay. I have about 2 ounces of butter. That's going to go in with my chocolate. Very important that goes in with it, because when we add the cream, it's going to separate. It'll break, and then it'll be a lot of work to get it back together. So we're just going to put it in now. As my yolks whip, they're going to get fluffy, they're going to get creamy, they're going to get ribbony, and that's going to be the key to making our chocolate, our peanut butter cups, so rich. And we're going to continue to whip our yolks again until they get very ribbony and creamy texture, and we're going to let them whip, and we'll be right back. As the chocolate melts and my butter goes in, it's going to continue to cream out, and boom, after that, look at that, we got that chocolate melting. Now we're talking, baby. All right. As that butter melts, it's going to continue to stretch out my chocolate. I'm going to let that go just a little bit longer, let that melt, and we'll be right back. As our yolks continue to whip, you can see they're getting much more thicker, much more ribbony, and much creamier texture. And again, they're capturing all the air bubbles, and that's what's going to give us our leavening agent for our peanut butter cups. And we're going to really need that to, again, stand up to all that rich, heavy chocolate and butter we're putting in there. And as this continues to whip just a little bit longer, we'll be right back. All right, now as my chocolate is all melted and creamy, every bit's emulsified, and my yolks are now whipped to the creamy texture and ribbony texture which we want, let's get them on check. There we go. Right where we need to be. Now, I'm going to go and take those and fold them right in to my chocolate. There we go. Look at that. Nice, ribbony, creamy. Now, here's where the fun starts. We're going to take it and we're going to fold it all together so we don't break up all those nice air bubbles we just made, right? There we go, look at that. Nice. Ooh-wee. Look at that now. Look at that. All right, now we're gonna take our half a cup of flour. I'm gonna drop that right in, okay? And make sure you sifted it, folks. All right. Again, we're gonna continue to fold it in. Now, we did wet, we did dry. Now it's time to add the rest of our wet ingredients to bring it all together to our cake batter texture. Look at that. Again, we have our half a cup of cream. Continue to fold it in. As we bring all that together, look at that. Just turns into a perfect cake batter. But our cake is all chocolate and egg yolks, tiny bit of flour. So the origin of the Hank's peanut butter cups is that, you know, my mom, she was very adamant about, you can have anything you want, you can make anything you want, but I'm gonna give you the tools to make it. You know, we would go shopping, I'd say, Mom, how about some of these Reese's? No, but I'll give you chocolate and peanut butter to make your own Reese's. Now they're Hank's, because you're Hank. And I said, all right, that works for me. Mama didn't give us no cream cheese, but we're gonna take a little cheat on that. But it all came out of necessity. You know, we wanted some desserts, we wanted some treats. Mama gave us the tools to make good eats. So that's where we're at. As we spray our pan, get them ready, we're gonna just ladle them in. We're gonna fill them about 3/4 up. Not too high, we don't want them to level out of into our pan. Because if you overflow them and make a mess in the oven, Mama don't let you cook in it no more. Then it won't be no peanut butter cups. But we clean the oven, Mama won't find out. All right, we're gonna continue to fill these up. We're gonna pop them in the oven at 375 degrees for about 12 minutes. And as we do that, we're gonna continue to film, and we'll be right back. All right, now while our chocolate's cooking, we're gonna go ahead and pull our peanut butter. We use chunky peanut butter because I always liked chunky peanut butter, but it didn't really matter what I wanted, and my dad always liked chunky, so that's what we got. But we're gonna start with chunky. Again, that adds a nice texture to our mousse. Again, I got a half a cup of peanut butter. I got a pound of cream cheese. Break it up in a couple little pieces. Half a cup of peanut butter, a pound of cream cheese, and then later we're gonna, in just a minute, we're gonna put a half a cup of heavy cream in there. But we're gonna start with our equal parts powdered sugar to cream cheese, which is a pound of powdered sugar to a pound of cream cheese. All right. I'm gonna slowly bring that up and start on slow because again, whoop, whoop, whoop. Didn't want that to happen, but we got a little bit of mess. We'll be all right. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put in my heavy cream. All right. Clean myself off right quick. Got a little flour on me, a little powdered sugar. Nothing a broom can't fix. But as that continues to whip, I'm going to go ahead and take about a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste. All right. Now we're just going to let that whip, and we'll be right back. All right, now we've got our chocolate out of the oven. As they're sitting here cooling, we turned them right out of the pan while the pan was still hot. And our mousse is done whipping. We just let it cream all together. And you see we got some nice textures, nice chunks from our peanut butter chunky. Now, I'm gonna take my grater, my box grater. That's gonna be my extra hand to hold my pastry bag. I went ahead and put my pastry tip down on the bottom. So that way when we're ready to decorate our cupcakes, we are ready to go. Now, let's go and get our mousse in here. Smell that peanut butter. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Now we are good to go. Let's get this out of our way. Beautiful. Decorate them a couple of this, a couple of that. However you like, some extra cream, some not. Look at those. Beautiful, nice and warm still. Again, you got a little bit of peanut butter chunks in there. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now let's take that box grater. I got us a nice block of chocolate. I pulled out, this is some Portuguese chocolate. Very nice. Beautiful. These came out a lot better than Reese's anyway. Enjoy. As we enjoy these, we'll be right back. All right, now we're gonna get started on our salmon, our entree course for tonight. Now, this is straight out of the South. We got apples fresh grown from LJ, Georgia. I got fresh cinnamon sticks from the other side of the world, but they're still Southern. Anyway, I got some nice Yukon Gold potatoes. But the star of the show is I'm getting my reduction started. And this is some fresh squeezed apple cider from those same apples we got. And we reduced this down with just the scraps from what we cut up, our onions, and then a little bit of cinnamon and a little lemon. And this is gonna be for our beurre blanc. This is a very delicious butter sauce and a different take on a traditional French style cuisine. Now that I got my cider reduced down, I'm gonna put about a cup of cream in there. And I'm gonna let that cream reduce down until that cream gets nice and thick and creamy before we continue to add our butter, each piece at a time, a little bit cold. We're gonna keep it cold, that way it emulsifies very quickly. Now, as that's cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and take my bacon and I'm gonna render out some bacon. This is gonna be for our apple and potato hash. It's gonna go underneath our salmon today. And I'm gonna render it all out just to get some that bacon going, get the fat, crispy it all up. And as that's sizzling, I will be right back. All right, now, as I got my lardons going, they're gonna continue to render out just a little bit, and we're gonna keep it nice, medium, even heat, and let that go render out evenly. Again, I got my cream reducing, got that going back. But just to go into it, going in there, we've got some Yukon Gold potatoes. These are all been diced up. Again, we got fresh LJ apples, nice and seasoned this year. A little bit of sliced garlic, a little bit of sliced green onions, bottoms and tops, and a little bit of scallions. Got a little bit of cinnamon. I might just saute that in there just a little bit, give it a little bit extra love, right? Come on. Once our bacon gets rendered down to where we want it, then we will pull it out and we'll start cooking off our potatoes. And then we'll go in and build it into the pan a la minute, each order for the sauce, right? And as that continues to render and our sauce continues to go down, we will be right back. All right, now we got our bacon right to the texture we wanted it to. We got it nice and crispy, but the good thing is we got a little bit of that fat. So we're gonna take it out, gonna put it on to the side, and we're gonna go in right in with our potatoes right after that. And we're gonna cook our potatoes in all that beautiful, delicious bacon deliciousness, right? Again, I got my Yukon Gold potatoes. Put those bad boys right in there. And if that pan's nice and hot and we got enough of that grease in there, we will be good to go. Let's get a little of that. Oh yeah, come on, baby. Look at that. Mm-hmm. All right. Potatoes are going. Now, while those are going, let's take a look at our sauce. Okay, bubbles are getting bigger, they're getting thicker. That's how we know it's starting to get to the texture which we wanted. Nice and thick and supple. But here comes the hard part. We're gonna start adding our butter in. But we can't just add it all in at one time. We gotta add just a little bit at a time, bit by bit. I went ahead and diced my butter up, nice chunks here. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw about 3-4 pieces in and let that melt. I'm gonna continue to do this until all the butter is emulsified. It'll be nice and creamy and it'll begin to change the texture of the sauce. As we continue to do this, we're gonna keep looking at our potatoes. We're gonna cook both of them up. Oh yeah, we got a little bit of browning in there. Yeah. If you're not good at multitasking, just stick to one at a time. Look at those. All right. A little bit of brown. Okay, look at that. Yes. Sauce is coming together. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. As we continue to add our sauce and saute our potatoes, we'll be right back. All right, now I've got all my butter incorporated into my sauce and it's reduced down to the proper texture. I'm gonna go ahead and strain it, separate it from the bits that are in there. Now, be careful when you do this. Don't want to burn yourself. Also, you don't want to make a mess. Look at that. Pull all our herbs, our thyme. We got all our flavors boiled out of there. Look at that. This here is the star of the show. If we didn't reduce it tight enough, we wouldn't have a nice texture, and it's just gonna ruin everything. But I've got a really good feeling. Oh yeah, look at that, look at that. Now, here's the key to that. Let's give it just a little taste. I think we're gonna need a little lemon. Ooh-wee, man. But we do need a little lemon. Incorporate that back in there. And boom, that's our Passata Blanc. Absolutely delicious. Now this goes great on pork chops, salmon, anything. I mean, that's apple cider butter sauce, man, come on. And now I got my potatoes done. Now it's time to start adding them to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my shallots. This is about a half a shallot, nice and small diced up. I'm gonna take the bottoms of my green onions, go ahead and put those in, right? Then I'm gonna just take my sliced garlic, just like Paulie cut it, right? Nice and thin. Now, we are gonna just saute that just ever so slightly. Not too hard, not too soft, but again, we wanna render out those onions to get all that garlic and all the flavor going in there. But then we're going back with the bacon. Yes, sir, every last bit of it. Get all that good juice, the bacon grease. We needed that. That's gonna be what brings us over the top, right? You can just smell it. When they come out with smell-o-vision, it's not even gonna do this justice. You guys are gonna be loving every last drop of it, I promise you. Here's our apples. All right. Again, this is great for all kind of things. You got the potatoes, you got the apples, you got the bacon, and that just goes wonderfully with pork chops, with salmon. Again, all kind of things. We can use this all throughout the winter. Very versatile hash. All right. Now, we're just gonna let this cook. We're gonna let it saute for a minute, and then we'll come right back to that. All right, now we got our hash a cooking. We got our apples a stewing, but I also got my pan a smoking. I got my nice fancy olive oil in there, and I want to go ahead and take my sockeye salmon, very low fat content salmon, but nice what I had fresh. So salt and black pepper, gonna give it a couple cranks, and then we're gonna go right in our skillet. And then once we get it in our skillet, we're gonna throw a little bit of butter. We're gonna put a little bit of fresh thyme. I went ahead and scored my salmon, obviously. Look at that, nice and hot. Get in our cast iron pan. There we go. There we go, right in there. Again, just a little salt and pepper. Nice hot pan, but now, throw a little butter, baby, come on. Let's get that in there. And then let's go ahead and put a little bit of thyme with that. Let's just get that going. Ooh, you heard that? Beautiful. Ooh, there we go. Now we're just gonna keep searing that. We'll start basting it in a little bit, but let's go ahead and get our apple hash cranked back up, get some heat going to it. All right, there we go. That's good, beautiful. Now, again, we're just letting our potatoes and our apples and our bacon get all stewed together. And as that's gonna sear right there, and then in a minute, I'm gonna actually deglaze this guy with just a little bit of apple cider. Look at that. Ooh, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And we're just gonna let that sear for a minute. And as we let that sear, we let this stew, we're gonna come right back. All right, now we got our hash to the texture we want. I'm gonna go ahead and give it just a little bit of apple cider to deglaze and to continue that all apple flavor going in there. There we go, beautiful. Get all that fawn off the bottom of the pan, and there's where the goodness is, right? Now that's all good to go. I give it a little salt and pepper. Okay, a couple shakes, a couple grinds of the pepper. And that's gonna be right where we need to go, but I've got some green onions to finish with it. You gotta have a little bit of green onions to finish with it. Fresh tops, right? Not the bottoms, those cooked. Now, mix that all in, and that's gonna be good to go. And I'm gonna turn it around. I'm gonna grab my salmon, and then we'll be good to go. Let's see where we're at. All right, look at that beautifully crisped up skin. Nice and basted with our brown butter and our thyme. Lovely. I'm gonna grab us some plates and we'll be right back. All right, now we got our salmon cooked up, seared up, and our potato hash right where we need to go. I'm gonna get ready to plate it up, but I get a chance to tell you, the history behind this dish and the origins of this. We obviously had an apple tree growing up, and then my mom was a huge salmon fan, said it was, very high in brain food, right? So we always had some, but I wanted to always think of a new way to eat it and something different, as opposed to just throwing a big side on the grill. So I started making the different kinds of hash, and this was one that always came up on the fall time, was the apple hash. And again, during our apple harvest, we obviously had plenty of apples. There's always potatoes and bacon, so I decided to kind of combine all these wonderful fall flavors and bring them all together for dinner. Look at that. Beautiful, crispy sockeye salmon. Now, nice big hash plate, beautiful, beautiful. And then we're gonna take our apple butter sauce, and we took our southern ingredients of our apples and all that good stuff, and we took it with the French technique of our beurre blanc and made us something truly beautiful. Creamy, rich, savory. This one hits all the notes. Come on, babe. Give it another kiss. Boom. Lovely. Gotta finish with green onions. Boom. Enjoy. We'll be right back. I'm Chef Frazier. Thank you so much for joining us in the Empty Kitchen today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed and I hope you've learned something today. The goal of cooking is to enjoy, but also to learn. Thank you so much for the apples that came in. These were nice and fresh and delicious. For our apple hash and our pan-seared salmon. But to top it off, our Hank's peanut butter cups. Thank you to Mama for giving us the inspiration to making us work and giving us the chocolate. But again, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.